What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another segment of Adobe Live with me, your host, Brandon Groce. I'm excited to see you all yet again, and I also want to give a huge another round of applause for both Elise and Ruben Cespedes in the last segment. You guys had seen some amazing skill in that last segment. So we're gonna here to do the same thing in 30 minutes. So with that said, I want to say hello to you guys. We have Lauren, we have SK, Stoofy, what is going on? We have Gareth, Fergie, Annika, Dwayne, what is happening, ladies and gentlemen? Let us know how you are in the chat. And by the way, if I have not said hi to you and you're over on YouTube, come on over to Behance so I can see your beautiful faces via your icons, and I can get to any questions, concerns, or things you might have questions about during our segment today. With that said, let's dive into what we have today. As mentioned, our DCC Daily Creative Challenge for XD is running from January 31st to February 25th. And if you haven't already and you're new, please make sure to join our Discord, because that is where you'll be able to share your work, join a group of amazing creatives like yourself, and be able to get feedback from our amazing mentors there as well. So today in our challenge, we are going to be working on a movie app. We're going to create not only animations, but transitions between the home screen and movie details page. So with that said, let's take a look at what we're working on and dive in. Now, please, if you are very new to, or just brand new to the Daily Creative Challenge, specifically for XD, please let me know and I will get to any questions you may have and fill in any context that you need as well. All right, so for very quick reference, what we are going to be working on here today, because I basically remade it yet again, to show you guys what we're getting into today, is we're going to make some very quick and easy transitions, as well as a nice little animation such as this. All right. So with that said, let's get crack-a-lack, we do not want to waste any time. We got hit with the hammer yesterday, and we do not want that to happen again. So as I've done in the past, I've given you guys all of the assets necessary to complete what we're doing today, and I've also started you off on this artboard really with everything, but we're going to start from scratch just so you can see how it's built out. And you can get this starter file by either clicking get started on this page on behance.net/challenge/XD, and you can get that link either below this video, or whether you're on YouTube or Behance, or go to this URL. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to start opening this file, and I'm going to use I'm just going to put this down here. It's going to distract me. Just put that all the way down there. All right, so, and if you guys have any questions while I am preparing this, please let me know, and I will pause and get to your questions. So first things first, I'm going to take my grouped images here, and I'm going to pull this into my artboard. I only want the Joker to be shown, and I'm gonna also drag this as well. If you guys have questions regarding to how I've built these things, we can go into detail, but I want to just show you guys the main features of what I want you to get out of today, which is the transitions and animations. All the other small stuff we can get into. But pretty much they're literally just like box, another box. This is a circle box. This is some text. Here's some stars, and this is a box with some text on it as well. So nothing super complicated. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drag this here, and I am also going to grab the Good Boys movie, and I'm just going to bring them. I'm actually going to use my tools here, so I'm going to select both of them. I'm going to horizontally align them. Bring it down just a bit. Make sure this is specifically centered in my artboard using my align tools. You're welcome, Fergie. This looks dope. Thank you for the starter files. You are very welcome. All right, I'm going to pull this in just a little bit closer, and I am going to duplicate this to the other side. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my two pieces, pull this down just a little bit, and I'm going to duplicate this just one more time, just like this. And Adobe XD is really doing all the hard work for me. All these purple lines where you see like the 16 pixels, or these 16 here, it's basically saying this is how much space is between each of these elements, so I don't have to go in and like with a ruler and measure everything myself. Kind of saves my life a little bit. So from here, what I'm going to do is I've essentially just grouped everything. So why this was off the artboard is because it wasn't on the artboard, but when I basically select all of these, I'm going to group it. So now, because the group is on the artboard, everything is it's hard to explain. The only reason that this was not on the artboard, or it was basically visible, is it's not part of the artboard. So I'm grouping it so that basically XD is like, oh, it's part of the artboard, or part of the artboard is on the, or part of the element is on the artboard. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to all these buy ticket buttons, and I'm going to reduce the opacity to 0, just double clicking them, 0, 0. And there is our first piece of the puzzle. From here, I am going to move this. I'm just going to duplicate this. So I'm holding Alt, Shift, drag. There we go. And what we're going to do here is pretty simple. I'm just going to shift this over. Or even before I do that, I'm going to make a quick little measurement here. So I'm going to, I'm not sure if you guys can see this, I'm moving my mouse to the top of this artboard here. My mouse cursor changes. And basically what that means is I'm now able to draw guides. So the guides that I want are one for the top of those cards, or that one card, the center one, and another guide for these cards on the side. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to scoot this entire piece over. Ooh, actually, before I do that, I'm also going to do these here as well. And there's smarter ways of doing this, but you know, I shouldn't say smarter. There's different ways of doing this in terms of measuring. All right, there we go. And so what I'm going to do here is now I'm going to bring this Good Boys video up to that line. I'm going to bring Joker down to this line. And now we have our first transition. I'm also going to go to our buy button here. Not zero that out. Let's click the button. And we're going to turn the opacity up by pressing 0. All right, so we're basically halfway there. So we have the card change, but now what we want to do is we want to change the background. So now that we're no longer on the Joker, we're going to switch to Good Boys. All right. So first part of the puzzle is down. Now let's prototype this puppy. So I'm going to click my artboard over here, my first one. I'm going to select my cards, go to prototype, and I'm going to take this little arrow and I'm going to pull it over to this artboard, our second artboard. And I'm going to pull this out just a little bit so you guys can see that a little bit more, just like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my trigger, I'm going to bring it to drag. Makaya was like, yep. I was having a little hard time explaining that. Elisa says, cool designs, Brandon, love it. Thank you, Elisa. I appreciate all of the things. Let me see. So next what we're going to do is we're going to essentially do the same thing, or at least, hold up, let me double check myself. Elisa, you distracted me. I was like, the goddess liked my work. And then I lost my train of thought. So second thing, I just want to make sure that my trigger is drag, my type of animation is auto animate, and my easing, you guys can pick whatever you desire, but I like snap, you know. And I'm going to do the same thing with these cards group over here, and I'm going to just drag my pick whip over here. And because Adobe XD is smart, it remembers the trigger I decided for any previous decision, so it remembers drag, auto animate, and snap. And I have now my little dun-da-da. So one thing I do want to fix is right here we still have this button in this right hand corner that is still showing up. So I'm going to come over here, double click my buy button and zero that out to 0 opacity. And gonna do a time check. Ooh, we are doing flashy today, guys. Yesterday, I was like, I shall not get the boot. on Behance. I shall make my 27-minute commitment. All right, so this next part is pretty easy. What we're gonna do here is I'm gonna duplicate our first artboard. And what we're gonna do is now we're gonna make our detail page. So what I'm gonna have happen is I'm gonna drag this entire section down to the white part, just like this. And we are going to pull in our details, just like this. Make sure it's centered. Make sure we're giving enough space to the top portion. And I am going to grab these 3 photos here with the 3 different, this movie is hilarious, but let's not dwell on that. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna paste this in, bring it up, and I'm gonna push this to the back. And what I mean by that is if we look at my layers, this is on top of everything. Back posters is on top. I can either drag this manually to the back, or I can use my controller command left and right brackets to bring it back and forth in my layers. You guys learned all about that in the Ruben and Elise session just prior, because his fingers were moving faster than anything I had seen. I don't know how he did all those wireframes and designed all that quickly. That was insane. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna start getting to our second portion of our animation. So we want to go from our first Joker page. So I'm gonna press prototype, go to buy ticket, and pull this puppy all over to our third page. And now what it's gonna look like right now is just utter trash. Nothing, it's not gonna work. It's just gonna be like, yeah. So what we want to have happen, I'm gonna show you guys, because some of this is actually not into, oh, and plus I had it on drag. So let me fix some of this. So we don't want it on drag, we want it on tap. And let me show you what happens and what we're gonna fix. So that's not what we want in terms of animation. Let's make it a little smoother and I'll show you guys how we can. Mikayo is asking, are these your personal favorites? I'm not going to lie. I've actually never watched Good Boys, but Hustle, I died laughing watching that. And Joker is pretty good too. Let's see. So what we want to do is we want to kind of go and bring some of these assets. Because if you guys remember, with Auto Animate, how Adobe kind of, or XD kind of thinks is one, for example, if we go here, right? When we did our first animation, our cards, basically how Adobe or XD is encoding this, we're like, okay, well, these cards were here, in this other artboard, we're moving it to over here. So it makes a lot of sense for XD to do this animation. However, for this animation, it has to kind of make things up because the assets that we've introduced over here are not on the first artboard. So we're gonna introduce them to the first artboard so we have smooth animations. And to do that, I'm just gonna copy and paste. I am going to push our posters all the way back, and I'm gonna bring this down just behind here. And I'm gonna turn the opacity to 0, and I'm gonna do the same thing with our details panel. I'm gonna copy, paste, and I'm gonna bring this right above our back posters just like this. And I actually want to make sure that does not go in a folder, so I'm gonna take this back there and I'm gonna pull it down because I want some bounce action with this asset or this element. Turn the opacity down. Now let's take a look back at our animation and let's look at the difference. Buy ticket, boom. So now we have, we have a smoother animation because we've introduced the element on our first artboard and saying, hey, these elements we want to start here, and when we get to this artboard, we want them to appear here and move in this manner. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was smooth and clean. That was a good 15 minutes. So we have our drag animation, beautiful opaque buy buttons. We have the ability to buy a ticket, and now we want to go back. So this is the last portion of our prototyping, and then we can dive into Discord, take a peek at some of you guys' amazing work. We can talk about how to export your work from XD and other questions you guys may have. So let me know. So last finishing touch we're going to do here is I'm going to go to my plugins. I'm going to go to icons for design, and I've typed in close to get a nice little close icon, and I'm going to just turn that. That's not a cute one. I don't know. I'm not appeased. That one has not appeased me. So I'm going to just take that one. I'm going to cut it from there, paste it over here. This one is still a little too chunky monkey for my liking. I feel like this design, based on everything that we have and the thinness, I don't think this close really fits it, but it fits for our time schedule, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to stick with it. And I'm just going to go back to my prototype, click on my close, and pull this to our first artboard just like this. So we have close, and it brings us to our first artboard, and now we can go through the entire circuit again. We have our drag, boom, pow. Easy day, guys. So that was 17 minutes. How you all feeling? How we doing in the chat? Moendwa saying, amazing design. I'm glad you are appeased, my friend. So with that, let's talk a little bit of how to share this design, how to export it, how to put this in Behance with the correct tags, and then we'll dive on over to Discord. So to export this beautiful puppy, if you want to export these as PNGs, JPEGs, things of that nature, you can select all your artboards, just like this, go to File, Export, Selected, or you can do all artboards. I just have other artboards that I'm not trying to export. I can go to just Selected. I have a whole bunch of formats. I have PNG, SVG, PDF, JPEG, and I can export certain sizes. I really very rarely I always do 1x. I very often, or unless a developer or somebody else is like, hey, can I get this particular size? I don't. 1x is good for me. You put it to where you want to export, and you export it. As for your prototype, if you want to save the video, what is this? Oh, I was like, that is not what we designed. If you want to export the video of your prototype, very simple. Make sure you select the first prototype, or to make it easy on yourself, select the first artboard of your prototype. Press the home button if you would like to just very easily just identify that as the first page. And go ahead and click play. And you have this beautiful little circle that allows you, if you're on Mac, to record your prototype. If you're on PC, I personally am on PC. I use a software called ScreenRec to record my prototypes. And I just press record and I go through the motions of what my prototype does. And I export that and upload it into a project. So with that being said, you can also share your prototype, which a lot of you have been doing and I've been absolutely loving in your Behance projects. You can go to share your project, make sure you have your specific prototype you want to have shared. So we have Flow 1 linked, this one. I can create a design review, development, presentation, user testing, or I can customize. If you guys want to showcase, you can either do user testing, a design review, or a presentation, or whichever fits your fancy. Presentation is probably best. You can make sure that if you want everybody to see, anyone with a link, people who you only want to invite, or you can have a password on it, you just create link. And you can embed that puppy, you can take that link and put it and share it with somebody. There's a whole bunch of things that you guys can do. And now there's even a Behance export, which is absolutely awesome. All right, so we got 5-ish minutes left. So we're going to take a look at Behance. We're going to look at some of your delicious pieces. And if you haven't yet submitted it, there's still time. We still have 5 minutes. Just drop it in there. So with that said, I know I've just a little bit, I dabbled in what our Discord is and the amazing community that we have here. But if you all are trying to increase your skill set, which is why you're here doing these challenges, I highly recommend you join our Discord and submit your work in our feedback and challenge section. We have amazing mentors: Elise, Laura, Peter, Sam, Valder, and of course Fergie and Jill. Okay, and even moi. All right. Obviously, I talk with you guys here, but you know, if you are trying to increase your skill through practice and, you know, get feedback from Elsa and amazing other people in here, highly recommend you utilize this as a resource. So I've pulled actually a couple of examples that I really wanted to pull up here from yesterday's challenge. So this is, let me see. So I absolutely love this. They didn't only, and I'm going to butcher the name, I'm so sorry, but under the Discord name, I got right. Let me see. Salembong. All right, so what I loved is they didn't just put the video, they didn't just put the prototype, they showcased their highlights, their screens. I think they even showed the colors, the typography, and then they had the interactive prototype, which was really cool. So if you guys want to dress up what it is that you did, it's always nice. Again, our work at the end of the day is our work, but if you want to actually sell your work, you have to add other pieces to it. And if you're going to make a Behance project out of your challenges here, I highly recommend you guys really, what I call, dress up your work. Don't just throw the video, don't just throw the prototype, tell a story about it. How did you get to what you created? In other words, dress it up. Chocolate always tastes better and really nicely wrapped. I don't know if it's tinfoil or if it's wrapped nicely. There we go. The chocolate tastes better. We also had, let me see. Yuya has really been tearing it up with our challenges as well. She's been kicking tail for every challenge with the animations. So I'm going to go ahead and open her video very quickly. And she did it a little bit more complicated than what we did yesterday, which is what exactly I was looking for. She had those nice, I loved it going from 40 to 60. She used that nice little asset that I gave you guys yesterday in the starter files. Very nice. Chriselle says, even moi. Excellent. All right, what else do we have in our Discord, ladies and gentlemen? Very nice. You guys are showcasing some really cool stuff. And out of curiosity, do you guys like the starter files to be nice and loaded like I've been giving you all? Or do you like a just blank slate? Let me know in the chat. We had a nice little animation here. This made a little bit different approach. Used buttons. And I think they used the transition. Would love to see what auto animate could do to this, but definitely followed exactly what the challenge was. Excellent job here. And we had a lot of people catching up with other projects as well from the past, or past challenges this week and the prior week. Ooh, let me see. Can't forget a riff. Let me pull this on over. I thought this was pretty unique. I actually have some questions for a riff because I have tried to do this animation a couple times with these rounded pieces, and it's actually pretty challenging. Like, I even in me watching this, I'm like, I've done that a couple times. I can't wrap my head around how I would do it again. I would have to tinker. So very cool stuff, and I like always seeing you guys going off the beaten path and trying new things. All right, so with that said, excellent job, and thank you guys for sharing this stuff on Behance and in our Discord. I absolutely love seeing what you guys are doing and not only taking what I've been giving you, but going the next step. All right, now to finish this off, and I bet I closed the tab, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here we go. I was like, oh no, I didn't. I always forget because they're long tags, guys. This is why we end our videos on this. Do make sure when you upload your work to Behance that you are using in the project tags XD Daily Challenge or XD Creative Challenge so we can feature your work in our curated selection. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that is it. We have gone through our 25 minutes of excellence. I hope you guys enjoyed this amazing time with me today, and I'm excited to be with you all tomorrow, same time, same place. So please, if you haven't already, like this video. I'll be here tomorrow, and make sure, if you haven't already, download XD so we can do some amazingness together. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.